It's a crazy time in sports and media, and one name keeps popping up in headlines: Shannon Sharpe. A Hall of Fame NFL legend, an emerging media mogul, and someone who seemed unstoppable until one moment changed everything. He was on the brink of a $100 million deal, building his empire, respected across networks, adored by fans. And then one series of choices, risky, reckless, and controversial, sent his career spiraling. Today, we're diving deep into Shannon Sharpe's downfall, the warnings he ignored, the lawsuit that shocked the sports world, and the $100 million opportunity that slipped through his fingers. This isn't just a scandal. It's a cautionary tale for anyone in the spotlight. Stay tuned, because the details are shocking, the story is messy, and some of it you won't believe. Months before the headlines exploded, Shannon received advice from people who had already seen the game's dangers. Katt Williams, known for his humor, but also for his insight, sat across from Shannon on Club Shay Shay and warned him directly, messing with certain women could get you caught up. It wasn't a casual comment or a joke, it was real talk. Katt even said, you could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends. Can you imagine? A Hall of Famer, untouchable on the field, being warned in such a blunt way about personal choices off the field. And Monique also gave him advice, urging Shannon to stay smart in relationships and focus on someone who genuinely cared for him rather than chasing risky flings. But Shannon laughed it off. Why do we ignore advice when we think we're untouchable? That's a question every fan and follower probably asked themselves during the fallout. Shannon began a relationship with Gabriella Zuniga, a young OnlyFans model. From the outside, it might have seemed harmless, but insiders say Katt Williams saw the potential for disaster months before the lawsuit dropped. And then came the lawsuit, a $50 million sexual assault and battery claim. Suddenly, the advice Shannon ignored was now headline news. This wasn't just a career hiccup, it was the start of a full-scale professional and personal crisis. Imagine having your entire public life scrutinized in real time while trying to navigate a legal storm. How would you react if the very people who warned you about risk were now shaking their heads at your choices? Once the lawsuit hit, social media and traditional media exploded. Headlines shouted about the allegations. Fans debated endlessly. And the fallout was swift. Shannon, instead of playing smart, agreed to pay millions to settle the lawsuit. He thought this would protect his reputation and keep his ESPN job. But it didn't. ESPN quickly severed ties, cutting him off completely. And here's the thing, the public reaction was brutal. Fans pointed out the hypocrisy. Shannon capped his daughter's wedding budget at $30,000, yet reportedly paid Gabriella $25,000 per encounter. Imagine the outrage online. You paid more for a fling than your own child's wedding. The social media firestorm was relentless, with every tweet and comment fueling the narrative that Shannon had mismanaged both his personal and professional life. Months earlier, Katt Williams had warned him. He made jokes, yes, but the message was crystal clear. Stay smart, protect your legacy. Katt even referenced similar situations he had seen with other celebrities, hinting at the exact kind of trap Shannon was walking into. Now, in hindsight, Katt's words were prophetic. He literally said, "I told you so." Shannon's failure to listen turned this into a real-life example of ignoring the advice of someone who's walked the path before you. Every step Shannon took after that warning seemed to double down on his eventual downfall. And it makes you wonder, how often do we ignore the advice of those who genuinely care for us, thinking we're untouchable? The settlement itself became another headline. Gabriella Zuniga retired from OnlyFans just 24 hours after the settlement news broke. She posted on Instagram, celebrating her financial security and calling it a new chapter. Meanwhile, Shannon's decision to pay millions was seen as a miscalculation. Instead of saving face, he was now portrayed as someone who valued a brief fling over his own career and family. Fans dissected every detail, leaked texts, payment amounts, the timing of the settlement. Social media was ruthless. The narrative wasn't just about the lawsuit, It was about judgment, priorities, and the consequences of ignoring warnings. Here's where the story gets even more jaw-dropping. Just 3 days before Gabriella filed her lawsuit, Shannon was on the brink of signing a $100 million podcast and media deal. This wasn't small change. It included all of his Shay Shay media shows, Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, Club 520, The Bubba Dub Show, Humble Baddies. It was the chance to cement his status as a media mogul. But the lawsuit hit. Instantly, the deal vanished. Sponsors backed away. Negotiations froze. A career-defining opportunity disappeared in the blink of an eye. Shannon went from negotiating generational wealth to scrambling to handle public scrutiny and legal fallout. It's staggering to imagine one lawsuit costing you a $100 million opportunity. How often do we stop and think about the fragility of reputation and the consequences of personal choices? ESPN didn't hesitate. Shannon begged them to postpone his firing announcement until after his brother, Shannon Sharpe, was inducted into the Hall of Fame. He wanted to preserve the family moment. But the network ignored him. There was no statement, no PR spin, just a clean break. For someone who brought life, charisma, and viral energy to ESPN, this was as cold as it gets. From ESPN's perspective, Shannon wasn't an asset anymore. He was a liability. And in corporate media, liability gets cut fast. It's a harsh reminder. No matter your fame, influence, or past achievements, networks and companies make decisions based on risk, not loyalty. Social media and fans weren't just observing, they were judging. The narrative wasn't just about the lawsuit, it was about choices, judgment, and hypocrisy. How could someone cap a daughter's wedding budget at $30,000 but pay millions to settle a scandal? The backlash was relentless. Every post, every comment, every viral tweet painted the same picture: a once-respected athlete letting poor choices dictate his legacy. Shannon was no longer in control of his narrative, the public was. What Shannon Sharpe's downfall teaches is simple but harsh. Fame, influence, and money can't shield you from poor judgment. Advice matters. Timing matters. And the people who warn you, especially those with experience like Katt Williams and Monique, aren't just giving opinions, they're giving guidance born from seeing the pitfalls firsthand. In this story, ignoring advice, chasing risky relationships, and miscalculating public perception created a perfect storm. And we're all watching the consequences unfold in real time. Looking at the entire timeline, Shannon's story is a modern cautionary tale. One wrong choice at the wrong time with the wrong person can undo decades of hard work. A $100 million opportunity evaporated. A prestigious media career is in jeopardy. His public image is permanently marked. It's not just about a lawsuit or a settlement. It's about legacy, judgment, and the high cost of ignoring warnings. Shannon Sharpe had everything, and in a matter of weeks, all of it spiraled out of control. For anyone watching, whether in sports, media, or business, the message is clear: every move matters. Your choices define your legacy, and sometimes, the smallest misstep can cost everything. So, what do you think? Could Shannon have avoided this downfall if he had listened to the warnings? Or was it just a matter of bad luck meeting poor judgment? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's discuss the lessons we can all take from this shocking story.